Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob, and welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Mariners franchise here on MLB The Show 23 as the All-Star festivities are over, and it's time for the second half of the season where the Mariners will start at home in a 3-game set against the Minnesota Twins. Now before we jump into the actual game, there's a lot to cover in this episode that's off the field, so this will be a little bit of a longer episode. Now, the past week we've had the MLB draft where we took a look at some of the players. We drafted our next few prospects, but now the time has come to start to sign some of these guys. Now the first guy we're going to get off the books quickly is Douglas Kramer, their relief pitcher we selected in the first round. He's going to sign a $2.76 million bonus. Then in our compository pick, we took starting pitcher Morgan Hampton from Puerto Rico. We're going to give him a bonus of $2.18 million, and he accepts. Our first two picks have already joined the organization. Then we took Mickey Dow. We're going to offer him a $1.24 million signing bonus, and he declines. So Mickey Dow has not signed yet. Fortunately, we do have some time to get him signed, but we don't have to wait for Ray Dolari, the second baseman from Rutgers, has signed his contract. Now, I also mentioned this in the recap yesterday. We're going to be calling up Cesar Hernandez to the big league club going into the second half of the season. He's a veteran who's played very good at AAA, and he offers some position flexibility. So I think he could be an asset to our club in the second half of the season. To make room for him, we're going to send down first baseman Evan White, who hasn't played bad, so to speak, but he only plays one position. He's only played 18 games, so I think he could get more progress at AAA, so that is where he'll go. We'll increase Mickey Dow's signing bonus to 1.39. He does take that. So there go our first 4 picks off the board. And that just relieves Ryan Brooks, Brian Sanchez, and Johnny Diaz to potentially get signed. So we're going to take a little bit, get to scout them a little bit more and some interest because we did not take a scouting report on them. So now back to the action. I hope you guys are ready. Also for this one, if you are, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. As Logan Gilbert is going to get the start for Seattle coming into this one. He's not had a good past month or so, but he's looking to change that. He'll go up against Oscar Gonzalez to begin the day. Yes, the former Cleveland Guardian who was traded to Minnesota earlier in the season, where the Twins sent Tyler Mahle to the rival Guardians. He begins his day with a base hit, and that extends his hit streak also to 11 games. Garrett Cooper is strikes out, also acquired in a trade this season from the Miami Marlins. As you can tell, the Twins are being very active to try to make a playoff push, despite being underneath 500. Because the American League is not that strong this year. Carlos Correa will single up the middle. Then Byron Buxton, the All-Star this year, strikes out on a high fastball before Polanco lines one over to third. So Gilbert gives up a couple of base runners but gets out of the inning scratch-free. Chris Paddock is on the mound for the Twins, only making his 4th start of the season. The right-handed pitcher with a .376 ERA. He'll begin against Colton Wong, the staple leadoff hitter, now hitting .255 at a very good month of June. Looking to peak that up as we go into July as he takes a 3-1 fastball and skies it into shallow left center, where that one will be put away by Trevor Larnach, and we'll take a look at the Mariners lineup. The usual starters, we'll see Crawford, France, Rodriguez, Hernandez, Suarez, Pollock, Raleigh, and Cano getting the start at DH. I did mention in the recap, Teoscar Hernandez, underneath the microscope going into the second half of the season. He's off to a hot start. Last 10 games hitting .282. Here comes J.P. Crawford up next, who swings and misses. Had a 12-6 in the dirt, got him fooled, and he is thrown out at first base. Ty France now up next, 1-0 pitch, and he gets jammed with a fastball into right center, but it will not fall as Kepler reaches over and makes the grab. We'll go bottom 3 now, where A.J. Pollock will get the run started. Crushes a fastball to deep left center, perfectly times it, and that's a no-down shot to get the Mariners on the board first. With a solo home run, his 13th homer of the season, traveled .429. A.J. Pollock, who's a free agent after this season, trying to increase that payday, gives the Mariners a 1-0 lead. Go to top 4 now, where Polanco is back at the dish. He looks at ball 4 as Gilbert has done pretty good settling down. Polanco is actually going to try to steal second base. Not a good throw from Raleigh, but he gets him nonetheless. So Cal Raleigh will throw out Polanco. So the walk has already been taken care of. And the next pitch, Kepler grounds over to first. That's a 3 unassisted. And now 2 down for Kyle Farmer, who has not been swinging a good bat recently. He's going to flare out to left field. So Gilbert scoreless through 4 innings. Go bottom 5, where Cal Raleigh, who just threw out the batter, is going to step up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 on the day. And he looks at strike 3. Fastball, I guess, just clips the inside corner for out number 1. That'll bring up the DH Robinson Cano, who gets a nice fastball, but he only just flies out to right field, and both pitchers really starting to settle down now. Take us back to the top of the lineup for the full count pitch to Kolten Wong, who gets a hold of a fastball. This one's hit deep to right field at the wall, and it's over. Kepler made an attempt, but Kolten Wong goes deep again, and one of our more unlikely power hitters in the past month continues his hot stretch. Wong now at 8 homers on the season. 7 of those have come in the past month and a half. He gives the Mariners a now 2-0 lead, and that'll do it for Paddock. He doesn't even make it through the end of the inning. He will be pulled in favor of the righty Griffey Jr, who's making his 47th appearance of the season already. He's got a runner on first now with Ty France with 2 down, who pops it up into center, and Jax gets out of the 5th. But the Mariners do get another run, and they'll go into the top of the 6th, handing it over to Yency Almonte. So Gilbert goes 5 scoreless innings. Now it's up to the bullpen to go the rest of the way. He'll begin his day against Carlos Correa, who is 2 for 2 with 2 singles on the day, but he'll go 2 for 3. Can't connect on the low sinker. Nice pitch by Almonte. And the next batter, Byron Buxton, flies one to right, cutting away from Teoscar Hernandez, but he makes the play. Quick 2 down now for the Twins. And then Polanco fouls it off into foul territory. Well, Suarez will get it. And Almonte goes 1-2-3 in the 6th. We'll bottom 6 now with the Mariners as Julio Rodriguez will strike out on a curveball over 3 day. That'll bring up Hernandez, who we talked about at the beginning of the game. Only in 202 against righties. That's part of the reason why he has not had the highest of average this season, but this will help. Change up left up, and Hernandez ropes it into left center. One hops off the wall, and that'll be a 1-out double for Teoscar Hernandez. And that's a big hit. Now 12 doubles on the season. Puts a runner in scoring position for Suarez, who's going to capitalize. Hits it into right. They're going to send Hernandez throw. Kepler's throw is offline, and Hernandez scores an RBI single for Suarez. Another run for Seattle, who now take a 3-0 lead before Pollock perfectly hits a ball into a 6-4-3 double play. But nonetheless, Mariners continue to just stretch that lead up, now up by 3. And it'll be time for Bruce Dog Gratterall, another player acquired via trade from the Dodgers this season. He's tasked with the 7th inning. He inherits 1 runner on first with 1 out. And, well, that's going to be an E5. He now has 2 runners on as Suarez throws a ball in the dirt. And we have 2 on, 1 out for Christian Vasquez, the catcher. 0 for 2 on the day. He's popped out and lined out. 1-2 pitch, chopper over to Suarez, and he fields it this time cleanly, and Suarez makes up for his errors. He starts the 5-4-3 double play, and that'll end the 7th. Going to the next frame, Giovanni Moran will come in for the Twins. He has not had a good start to his campaign as he walks the first batter in the bottom of the 7th. Fortunately for Moran, he's not done that bad against left-handed hitters, and while he's going to face a string of left-handed hitters coming up, but Robinson Cano doesn't care. He singles into center, so now 2 on, no outs for Kolten Wong, who goes around on the slider for the first out of the inning. Next up, another lefty in J.P. Crawford. He also misses on the slider, so Moran settles down against the lefties, but now it's the righty Ty France up next, and he grounds this one over to third, fielded cleanly by Farmer, who throws him out, so Moran gets through the 7th inning clean. Go top 8 now. Well, Paul Sewall will be out to set up the 9th inning. He's done very good in this 8th inning role this season. He'll start off against Oscar Gonzalez, who grounds out in a 4-3 putout. Next batter up, Garrett Cooper gets a fastball, lifts it to deep right center, where this one will be put away by J-Rod. And Sewall doing a very good job against the top of the lineup. But he doesn't get a 1-2-3 inning as he does walk Carlos Correa. Puts him on first base for Byron Buxton, who singles up the middle. So just like that, 2 out, 2 base runners for the Minnesota Twins. And that'll bring up Jorge Polanco. 0-2 pitch to Polanco. He hits this one deep to left center, gets a hold of it, and it's going to be caught by Pollock, and the Twins once again get a couple base runners, but they can't do anything with them. We'll see if the Mariners can get some more insurance runs as Jorge Alcala will get to the 8th inning for the Minnesota Twins. Rodriguez up first, chopper over to first, and that one will be put away with a 3 unassisted. Next up, Teoscar Hernandez, and he'll do almost the exact same thing, keeping Garrett Cooper on his toes over there at the first base bag as he gets the first 2 out of the innings. But he doesn't get the 3rd as this one is out of his reach. Suarez goes down the first base line, a second time he's done that today, and it's a 2-out double for Eugenio. A.J. Pollock now up next, who has homered today, and he can't connect on the changeup. I don't think he went around, but the umpire says he does. And the Mariners don't get any assurance runs, so they'll take a 3-0 lead into the ninth for Andres Munoz, who's 33 for 36. But he started off perfect on the season, and he blew 3 saves in a row. So hopefully we get the first 90% of the season, Munoz, and not the last 10%, as he gets the inning started with a ground out from Kepler. And then Farmer up next, singles up the middle. So that'll put a runner on for the Minnesota Twins. Trevor Larnach up next, hits this one through the right side of the infield, and that's 2 singles in a row for the Twins now. And the tying run is now at the plate. Munoz struggling here in the ninth inning as Vasquez bloops this one into right center, and it's going to get down. Runners were on the move, and there's going to be a play at the plate, and the throw is offline. The Twins get a run. Now 3-1 in favor of the Mariners, and the tying run is on first base. They're going to go with some more speed on the base pass. Royce Lewis will come in at third, but Oscar Gonzalez strikes out swinging, so now 2 down, and it's up to Garrett Cooper. 0 for 4 on the day. He has a 3-1 pitch as Munoz misses wildly. Now bases loaded, 2 outs, tying run at second for Carlos Correa. He wanted the big paycheck this offseason. Well, this is the situations that he's going to be in, and he can't connect on the slider running away. Munoz doesn't make it look pretty, but he does get the save. Mariners take game 1 of the series by a final score of 3-1, and that is now an 8-game winning streak for the Seattle Mariners. They had a hot start, or a hot end to the first half of the month, and they've had a hot start to the second half. As Munoz gets the save, Gilbert gets the win, Paddock the loss. 3 runs on 8 hits, 1 error for the Mariners, 1 run on 8 hits for the Twins. As Player of the Game awards will go to the starting pitcher, Logan Gilbert, who pitched 5 shutout innings. That's nice to see after he had a rocky past month. Hopefully this is the first step in getting him back on track. Now this is going to be a longer episode because there have been a lot of trades going around Major League Baseball. I'm not going to touch on every single one, but there's been some big ones. The first one, the Yankees acquire shortstop O'Neal Cruz from the Pirates for a slew of prospects. O'Neal Cruz, a bright future. I'm surprised the Pirates decided to part ways with him, but the Yankees did give up 3 guys to get him, hoping that he could be the future shortstop, and they really haven't had since Derek Jeter. The big prospect in the deal to the Pirates will be Lucas Gill, a 70 overall B potential starting pitcher. This is probably the biggest trade. The Diamondbacks acquire Felix Bautista for Drew Jones and Jordan Lawler. The Diamondbacks, we know, are pushing for a playoff spot, and they get a shutdown closer. I mean, it's not a bad player, 87 overall, plenty of years of team control left. But boy, did the Diamondbacks give up some prospects to give them. They give up both the 8th and the 9th best prospects in baseball. So the Orioles, who aren't contending, do get 2 great prospects to potentially build their team around and potentially speed up the rebuild. The Red Sox acquire starting pitcher Michael Lorenzen from the Tigers. I think this is a good deal for Detroit. They get 3 prospects in return. Lorenzen was going to be a free agent at the end of the season. I thought he was going to be on the move. And well, he's heading to Boston to hopefully beef up their rotation as they try to get a wild card spot. A couple more big time moves. The Guardians are going to acquire Will Myers from the Reds for starting pitcher Gavin Williams. I don't really know what the Guardians are doing. They're pushing for the playoffs, but they've made a couple of questionable trades, trading away Oscar Gonzalez and now getting Will Myers. But they do send an A potential starting pitcher in Gavin Williams. I think the Reds probably win this trade in the long haul. Not sure what Cleveland's strategy really is. The Marlins, they acquired Trace Thompson from the Dodgers. You might recognize that last name. He is the older brother of Warriors guard Klay Thompson. And they trade Sixto Sanchez. Now, this might look interesting on paper as to why the Marlins did it, but you got to keep in mind Sanchez has not played baseball for 3 seasons because of injuries, and he hasn't had a good 2023, so I think the Marlins think he's damaged goods and he's been sent to the Dodgers. Now, this is probably the biggest trade in my opinion, as Joey Votto gets sent to the Tampa Bay Rays, so Joey V will not end his career in Cincinnati. That's tough on me for 2 reasons, because 1, I kind of wanted him to end his career in Cincinnati, and 2, he was actually a guy I was looking at potentially trading for. He's a lefty bat, which is, I think, what I want to target, and he's been on the trade block, but if you snooze, you lose. Now he's heading to Tampa Bay, and the Reds get a prospect in a return. Back to the big league club, we do win Game 2 by a final score of 9-8. This game was 4-4 going into extras before both teams exploded, and we get the win nonetheless, though. Trades continue as the White Sox are going to take Lane Thomas away from the Nationals as he doesn't really add a lot to the White Sox. He's mostly just a speed guy. He can hit lefties a little bit, but he's had a rough season nonetheless. And then the Tyler Wade is sent to the Blue Jays. He's not really going to be that much of a plate guy, but he adds a lot of position flexibility. He strengthens that Blue Jays bench, as well as gives them some speed for a pinch runner. And lastly, the Twins acquired Jonathan Daza from the Rockies. So the Twins still holding on to hopes for a playoff spot. Daza's hit the ball really well in his major league career, so the Twins paid a little bit of a price to get him. He's hoping that he can get them to the playoffs. We do sign Brian Sanchez. I didn't fully scout him, but I like his potential range, and he's a reliever, so you get some more depth in that. Unfortunate news on the farm system. Our top prospect, Harry Ford, down at AA, has dislocated his ankle, so his season is done. Ford did not have a good season swinging the bat, and hopefully this injury does not slow down any progress that he has made. We do win Game 3 by a final score of 4-0, and we win with the fourth game 4-1, so we're on an 11-game winning streak as we get a 4-game sweep of the Minnesota Twins, one of the hottest teams of baseball at the right time, because we're playing the Toronto Blue Jays. And this is probably the biggest series to this point of the season for the Seattle Mariners. These are the two best teams in the American League meeting at T-Mobile Park for a 3-game series, while the Mariners are riding an 11-game winning streak coming into this one. In case you're curious, the longest win streak in Seattle Mariners history is 15 back in 2001. And the Mariners, they're closing in on that spot. And in the meantime, they've bumped up their AL West lead to 11 games over the Houston Astros. On the mound for the M's will be George Kirby, riding a 2.68 ERA coming into this one. He's been our best starting pitcher this season. And it'll be Whit Merrifield leading off for the Blue Jays, who's riding a 13-game hit streak into this one. And he wastes no time, getting it up to 14 as he leads off the day for the Blue Jays with a single into right field. That'll bring up Santiago Espinal up next as he hits this one into center field, while Rodriguez will make the grab. And we'll take a look at the Blue Jays lineup in this one. It's a very solid hitting team. We've seen Merrifield, Espinal. Next we'll see Bo Bichette, followed by George Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Danny Jansen, and Brandon Belt, who are two guys that, to take a look at, have been on the trade block, so that's very interesting. Matt Chapman and Dalton Varsho in left field, who their 9-hole hitter has even been hitting .314 in his past 10 games. So it's a very scary Blue Jays lineup, as here's Bo Bichette, the shortstop, who hits this one right up the middle for a base hit, and the Blue Jays already have 2 hits here in the first. And I'll bring up the center fielder, George Springer, who chops this one over to Wong at second. He flips it to the shortstop, Crawford, who flips to the first, and they do get the double play. By about a half step, Springer is out, and there's nothing in the first for the Blue Jays. Chris Brassett will come in for the Blue Jays. Their right-hander, he's had a very solid season, one of their best starting pitchers in their rotation. Also like these powder blues that the Blue Jays decided to wear today. Colton Wong will lead off with a sharp, slow hit, I guess, to second base where it is caught. And here's a look at the Mariners lineup. A little bit different today. No Ty France. He is getting the day off. Dylan Moore will be in his place. And we've been on this long winning streak, while J-Rod has been hitting 135 in his past 10 games. So our best superstar player hasn't even been all that great, and we've still put together these wins. That's pretty impressive as a team performance. Here's J.P. Crawford up next. He flares this one into left field. It's a quick 2 down. And now Teoscar Hernandez, who's in the 2 spot today, gets a curveball, but just hits it over to Bo Bichette, and he'll end it 1-2-3. Go the Mariners. We'll stay within bottom 2 now. Here's Julio Rodriguez, who can't connect on the big 12-6. Bass has got a nasty curveball, and he saw it on display there. Eugenio Suarez up next will draw a walk. Just misses off the plate, so that's the first base run of the day for the Mariners. AJ Pollock up next will just miss on a fastball, a little bit late, and that's an easy fly ball for Guerrero in foul territory. Cal Raleigh up next looks at ball for it as well, so the Mariners get 2 walks here, and now it's 2 down for Dylan Moore getting the start at first base today. First pitch gets a hanging 12-6, and Moore sends it way out of here to center field. Dylan Moore, the spot start first baseman today, hits an absolute blast to center. The first runs of the day for the Mariners, also the first hit of the day for Seattle, is a 417-foot bomb, Moore's 4th home run of the season. The fans going wild here at T-Mobile Park, 3-0 in favor of the home team. Robinson Cano up next will get another curveball that catches a lot of the plate, but he doesn't have the same fate as he'll just fly out to the center fielder. But the Mariners get 3 in the second. We'll go top 5 here, where Kirby continues to have a very solid performance. That's nothing really new this season, but Brandon Belt does single into right field. Belt is a name that the Mariners have had on their interest for trade, but they can't seem to come to an agreement with the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays want a center fielder, and obviously the Mariners are not giving up Julio Rodriguez. As now George Kirby, with one on and a runner on first, will give up a shot down the left field line. This is going to be trouble, but the runner is going to be sent home, and the throw is in time. They gun down Matt Chapman at the plate. Beautiful relay into the cutoff man, throw to Cal Raleigh. That does it for the out, and then next batter, Whit Merrifield strikes out. Kirby still scoreless through 5, pitching another gem. As we'll stay here, bottom 5 of the Mariners, another hanging curveball to Moore. Don't you realize you can't leave a curveball up to Dylan Moore? He's going to get a hit. So he's on first base. That brings up Robinson Cano, and Moore is very good at the stolen base. So what's he going to do? He's going to try to swipe second. Throw is not in time. Another stolen base for Dylan Moore, but this one's a little bit different as he actually comes up holding his back. A little bit of stiffness back there, no pun intended, for Dylan Moore. He would be okay. He's not going to miss any time. But he's going to have to come out of the game as Cesar Hernandez, who was called up last week, will come in and pinch run. An interesting pinch runner because Hernandez doesn't play first base, which is where Moore was playing, but they wanted a little bit more extra speed on the base pass, so Hernandez will pinch run until the end of the inning as he'll move over to third, and that'll actually do it for Bassett. Yusei Kikuchi will come in relief. He's going to be tasked with stranding the runner on third, but Colton Wong, the next batter, hits a fly ball to left. Underneath it is Varsho. He'll make the grab, but Hernandez will tag up and try to score, and he'll do just that. Cesar comes across home plate. Again, that's Ty France coming into pinch run. I don't think he scores there. So now 4-0 in favor of the Mariners as J.P. Crawford is not done. He walks. And then Hernandez up next, though, will chop this one over to Bo Bichette, who goes the short route to second to end the inning. The 4-0 now in favor of the Mariners. And now Ty France will come in. His day off is over. He'll take over at first base. And Santiago Espinal will begin for the Blue Jays, who still have yet to score a run in this one. And that's not going to change here as Espinal will fly out to the right fielder. How about Bo Bichette? He's had a good defensive day. Well, he's just going to chop it over to Suarez at third, who makes the play for the second out of the inning. Kirby just needs one more to get the quality start, and he does just that. Jam Springer, 6 shutout innings for Kirby. As we'll go bottom 6 now, Eugenio Suarez jacks one to left, and that ball is gone. A solo shot off Yusei Kikuchi. Suarez makes his 22nd trip around the base pass. That is a team leading in the home runs department, and the Mariners are single-handedly dominating the Toronto Blue Jays in this one, now up 5-0. The next batter, A.J. Pollock, is going to perfectly hit one into left field, and now Yusei Kikuchi is not having himself a good game as he's got a runner on first, one out. Cal Raleigh up next. He'll bloop this one in the right field, and it's going to fall for a base hit. Pollock is going to get on his horse. He's going to go all the way to third, and now we got runners on the corners, one out. Ty France, who originally wasn't supposed to be in the game, now is, and he delivers one of the clutchest hitters in baseball. An RBI single for France, now 6-0 in favor of the Mariners. Yusei Kikuchi will stay in the ball game, mind you, while Robinson Cano will hit a sharp one over to the hot corner. That one is gloved by Chapman for 2 down. Then Colton Wong next, lefty on lefty, but Wong going to hit this one to center, and it's going to drop. Another base hit, another RBI for the Mariners. They're in the lead now at 7-0. Kikuchi has let the Mariners come back in this one and just blow their lead wide open. That's going to do it for Yusei. Despite another lefty being up, they can't take another batter as the righty Zach Pop will come in out of the pen for the Blue Jays. His first pitch will be to J.P. Crawford, and he'll perfectly hit this one into center field, and another run will come around and score 8-0 in favor of the Mariners. This is a one-sided beatdown against the best team in the American League. How about Teoscar Hernandez? The former Blue Jay hits this one to center field, and again it drops in front of Springer for another RBI. Springer's got to start to try to make some plays on these balls because now it's 9-0 in favor of Seattle. Runner still on the corner for Julio Rodriguez, and well, our best player doesn't get the hits. He pops up into center field, and that'll end at the 6th for the Mariners. Now lead 9-0. This one is a blowout. Sheffield comes in the 7th. He's just going to be tasked with getting the final few innings. Just not trying to wear the bullpen out. He goes into the 8th inning here with a runner on first base and 2 away, and he gives up a single to Santiago Espinal. So the Blue Jays have 2 on for Bo Bichette, who rips one deep into the left center gap. That one hops off the wall, and the Blue Jays will be scoreless no more, as that'll be a 2 RBI double for Bo Bichette. Makes it look a little prettier now, 9-2 in favor of the Mariners off Bo's 12th double of the season. And then George Springer up next will draw a walk. So Sheffield has not had the best season. He's continued struggling here in this one. He does get Vlad to look at the slider to end the 8th. Blue Jays get 2. But in the end, it's not going to matter as the Mariners win this one by a statement score of 9-2. The Mariners destroy the best team in the American League in Game 1 of the set. They keep their winning streak alive now at 12 straight games. Seattle has won 9 runs, 12 hits for the M's, 2 runs on 9 hits for the Jays. Kirby gets the win, Bassett the loss, and I guess since Sheffield went 3 innings, he technically gets a save, so that's his first on the season. Overall, a solid performance all around for the Mariners. Moore got player of the game despite only having 2 at-bats. Right after this game, the Blue Jays were not happy with their performance, and they make a big-time trade. They get the center fielder they were looking for in Cedric Mullins from the Baltimore Orioles. This is a very interesting trade for the Blue Jays. Kiermaier is a free agent after this one, so they set themselves up for a bonus, not for this playoff run, but for the future. In turn, the Orioles, well, they get Brandon Belt, the guy that we wanted. Eventually, he is shipped off to Baltimore. Might only be there for the rest of this season. And the Blue Jays also send Yusei Kikuchi. I guess they were not happy with his performance. Interesting trade for the Orioles, but they got a lot of depth at center field, so they might as well try to get some pieces for a player. We win Game 2 as well by a final score of 4-3, so we guarantee the series win against the Blue Jays. We got after Jose Barrios. Tom Murphy even had a homer for us. Then in Game 3, we win 4-3 as well in extra innings as we sweep the best team in the American League. And because of that, your Seattle Mariners now have the #1 seed currently in the AL. I did not think this would happen going into the season, but this team has played absolutely sensational. More trades around the league. The Royals and the Reds make a deal that sends Chris Bubic to the Reds, and then the Brewers trade Eric Lauer to the Orioles. Bubic's a nice piece for the Reds. The Reds are obviously rebuilding. Bubic has not had a good start to his career in Kansas City, so Cincinnati thinks they can give him a new scenery to help his career. The Orioles, they get Eric Lauer from the Brewers. He's a guy that I even thought about targeting. He's a very good lefty starting pitcher. Again, the Orioles aren't really pushing for a playoff spot, and they give away a good prospect in Jordan Westburg, but they have Gunnar Henderson in the wings. So, I mean, he's, I guess, expendable. So, Orioles making very interesting moves. Next episode, we'll have a 3-game set at road against Minnesota for a 3-game set in Arizona. And we currently sit at 14 straight wins on the season. Can we break that record set in 2001? We'll have to find out next episode. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.